After the cover image and stego image datasets were successfully created using UNet WorldStream, the next step was to prepare the dataset for the stego analysis process using SRNet. Unlike UNet, which is tasked with embedding secret message into image, SRNet is tasked with classifying whether an image is a cover or a stego image. Therefore, the first step is to build a dataset that can recognize both types of image and assign appropriate labels for the SRNet training process. At the beginning of the code, various libraries required for the stego analysis process with SRNet are imported. The PyTorch library is used to build and train the learning models. The dataset and data loader libraries are used to manage data during the training and testing processes. The PIL and Torch Vision transform libraries are used to read and convert images into tensors. In addition, several functions from scikit-learn are used to calculate evaluation metrics such as accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, ROC curve, and AUC, which will later be used to measure SRNet's performance in detecting hidden images. After the libraries have been successfully loaded, the next step is to create a dataset class called SRNet dataset. This class is responsible for reading the pairs of cover image and stego image generated in the previous steganography stage. The dataset is organized into two main folders, the cover and stego folder, which contain the original image, which contain the image that have been embedded with secret message. During initialization, all files in the cover and stego folders are read and then added to data list. Each cover is labeled 0, while each stego image is labeled 1. This labeling is crucial because SRNet is a binary classification model tasked with distinguishing between these two image classes. Thus, during the training process, SRNet will learn to recognize the characteristics that distinguish cover image from stego image based on the assigned label. After the dataset is successfully constructed, the image then passes through the high-pass filter or HVF stage. These layers have to highlight small changes or residual noise resulting from the secret message embedding process, making them easier for SRNet to detect. In this code, 35 times 5 convolutional filters are used, producing 30 feature maps. The filter weights are initialized with small random values and frozen, not trained, to function as an initial feature extractor. In accordance with the SRNet concept, the output from the HVF is then used as input to the SRNet network to distinguish between the cover image and stego image. After the residual features have been successfully extracted by the HVF, the next process is carried out by the residual block. This block serves to learn the pattern that distinguishes the cover image and stego image in greater depth without losing important information from the previous layer. The residual block consists of two convolutional layers, each followed by base normalization. In addition to the main path, there is a skip connection, shortcut connection that connects the input directly to the output. The addition of this path helps maintain the flow of information and addresses the vanishing gradient problem as the network becomes deeper. If downsampling is performed, The size of the feature map is reduced using a thread of 2 so that the network can learn more complex features with a more compact amount of data. The result from the main path and the shortcut path are then summed and passed to the ReLU activation function to produce a stronger feature representation. Next, in Ethernet full model, once the residual block is defined, all components are then integrated into the Ethernet model. The model begins with a high-pass filter or HPF to extract residual noise that may contain trace of a hidden message. Next, these features are processed through 4 groups of residual blocks. In each group, the number of channels increase from 64, 128, lalu 256, and 512, while the size of the feature map is gradually reduced through the downsampling. This allows Ethernet to learn stack analysis features from simple to complex levels. In the final stage, global effect pooling or GAP is used to summarize all feature information into a single vector. This vector is then fed into a fully connected layer that produces two class output: the cover image in label 0 and the stego image label 1. Ethernet can classify whether an image contains a secret message or not. Once the Ethernet model has been built, the next step is to load the dataset for training, validation, and testing. This code uses a steganography dataset with a 2 BPP payload that has been divided into train, validation, and test folder. Each folder is read using Ethernet dataset and then convert to a data loader so that the data can be processed in batches during training. A batch size of 16 is used to process 16 images in a single iteration. The shuffle equal true parameter in training data is intended to randomize the order of the data so that the model does not memorize specific patterns, while the validation and test data are not randomized to ensure consistent in the evaluation process. Next, cross entropy loss is used as the loss function to measure the classification error between the model's prediction and the truth labels. To update the networks, whilst during the training process, the Adam optimizer is used with a learning rate of 0.0001 or 1e minus 4, which optimizes the learning process so that the model can achieve better performance. In training loop, after the model and training parameters are initialized, the Ethernet training process is performed using the train underscore Ethernet function. In each effort, the model processes the entire training dataset to learn the difference between the cover image and the stego image. For each batch of data, the image and labels are transferred to the GPU, and a forward pass is performed to generate prediction. The loss value is calculated using cross entropy loss followed by a backpropagation process to update the model's weights using the Adam optimizer. During training, a progress bar TQDM is used to display training progress and the loss value in real time. After all the data in an epoch has been processed, the average training loss is calculated, and the model is evaluated using validation data to monitor SRNet's performance and generalization ability during the training process. After the training process is complete for its epochs, the SRNet model is evaluated using the evaluated underscore SRNet function. At this stage, the model runs in evaluation or eval mode, so the network parameters are not updated. All images in the validation or test dataset are processed to generate class prediction. Cover image 0 or stego image 1. The prediction are then compared with the actual labels to calculate accuracy as a measure of classification success. In addition, a confusion metric is displayed, showing the number of correct and incorrect prediction for each class. These evaluation results are used to determine how well SRNet can distinguish between cover and stego image generated during the steganography stage. In addition to accuracy, SRNet's performance was also evaluated using the ROC or Receiver Operating Characteristic Curve and AUC or area under the curve. This evaluation aims to measure the model's ability to distinguish between cover image and stego image at various classification thresholds. In this process, the model's output is first converted into probabilities using the softmax function. The probability of the stego class in level 1 is then used to calculate the false positive rate or FPR and true positive rate or TPR, which from the ROC curve. Next, the AUC value, the area under the curve, is calculated. The closer this value is to 1, the better SRNet ability to detect the presence of hidden messages. The evaluation results are then visualized as an ROC plot so that the model's performance can be analyzed more easily and comprehensively. Okay, for this part of the video it is finished. We continue to the next video SRNet training and evaluation result along with conclusion and closing remarks.